My interview for Starbucks was at 2 o'clock. It is now 2:03, and I'm back in the car. Starbucks has a corporate policy where you can't have face tattoos.
You ever thought maybe the job that y'all think I would want and I can't get, maybe I don't want that job. Any job that does not accept my tattoo, listen, it just wasn't meant for me.
Do you show your tattoos during a job interview, or is that considered taboo or unprofessional?
Have you been on any job interviews and they accepted you? Yes, I've been on job interviews.
So I've noticed not a lot of people really vouch for face tattoos. So I wanted to take the time out of my day to say face tattoos are not.
Interview for Starbucks was at 2 o'clock. It is now 2:03, and I'm back in the car. Starbucks has a corporate policy where you can't have face tattoos. Not even if I wore makeup. I asked them about that. I feel a little defeated, I gotta be honest with you. It's been 5 months since I worked, and I've been going on interviews, and I have been applying to everything, and I was hopeful about this one because I thought Starbucks was like a cool company that really didn't mind about things like that. But it is what it is. So this just happened. I'm still feeling the kick in the from what just happened, but uh, you know, I'm going to get employed at the job that is right for me when the time is right. And call it God, call it the universe, call it what you want. I believe that there's a loving, caring presence that guides me throughout my life. So even though on paper it appears like I needed to start working yesterday, you know, a long time ago, God, the universe has other plans. So I just need to keep my eyes and ears open and keep doing the same thing I've been doing. And the right employment will come. I have to believe that. Because what's the alternative? Give up? I'm not going to give up. But damn. I was in that interview less than 3 minutes. But I did get a cup of free coffee, so hey, there's a silver lining. uh, Talk to you soon.
At the end of the day, right? People have tattoos. It's just something that happens. But what face tattoos could indicate is really just impulsivity. I think that's what that can really represent for a lot of people when you start pretty much drawing on your face, right? Especially when you already know the environment and the landscape, and you already know that that's not something that's normal, and that's really not something that's normally accepted, and then you still decide to do it. That can pretty much just show that you're unhinged. That's what that could represent. And he had the blue nail polish as well. But does a company want somebody with the potential of being unhinged to be at a front facing position for their store? Especially when the store in question, which is Starbucks, they like to turn around the tablet and ask you, do you want a tip? And not everybody's going to capitulate to that tablet and tip. So then what do we do then? How do you feel after that? What are you going to do? What's going to be your reaction? We can't predict it possibly. We can't predict it possibly because we don't know what was going through your mind when you decided to get tattoos all over your face. So we don't really know what you're going to do. Now, this guy seems like a fine guy, man. He doesn't seem like that bad of a guy. He just seems like that's his niche. That's what he's interested in. The more goth type of culture. So he's fully immersed in it, and he's decided to adopt that to his identity. So I think that's really just what's going on. Like he might be in a band or something. But I think you could have still been in the band without doing the face tattoos and all that type of stuff, right? But y'all, before we get into the next clip, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second. It actually does help out tremendously. And also, if you could hype as well.
Show your tattoos during a job interview, or is that considered taboo or unprofessional? I worked for a company for 4 years, and when I was interviewing 4 years ago, I had no tattoos. So now that it's 2025, we're back in the job market. I'm a little hesitant. I think it's because the moment I got my first tattoo, my mom was like, "What are you gonna do when you need a job?" I had a job then, Mom. I didn't think about it. So if you're watching this, Mom,
hear this from perspective of somebody who I'm a male and I have tattoos, right? I have some tattoos on my back. I have some on my arms right here, and I have one on my side, whatever. But the thing that I want to share is that before I decided to get these tattoos, I was intentional to choose the tattoos to where they still would not be able to be seen if I wore a shirt that came just before like the funny bone and the crease in my
Right.
elbow,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, I still can go and interview for a job because with our generation, there's a point in time to where you get a tattoo anywhere down here, right? Anywhere down here on your
Yeah.
forearm.
So the key word here is intentional. And that's what I was really speaking to in the first example. Because when you get tattoos on your face, we have to question what was the intent? What were you intentionally trying to do? And it can indicate that there wasn't any intentionality. You just impulsively did whatever you wanted to do, which we have a place for impulsive people. I'm not saying that that's where the first guy belongs, but typically on average, impulsive people end up in a cell or worse, end up in the sky. So I think we have to understand it's kind of like the second woman who she said her mom pretty much couldn't believe when she was getting a tattoo, and her mom was so worried about her. And obviously, her mom is in a generation before her. When you're applying for jobs in corporations, what generation do you think the people who are at the top of the corporate ladder, as well as the people who own those corporations, come from? What generation do you think they come from? Do you think? I know that we're starting to get more management type level positions, the newer generation. But when we go on a top level where the actual, you know, standard operating procedures are pushed down as far as what's acceptable and what's not, who do you think makes those? The people who make those are people who are from the generation to where that wasn't normal, that wasn't acceptable, and that still won't be tolerated. So you have to adapt to that if you're going to try to survive in society via conventional means. And by conventional means, I mean working a regular job. Now, if you're that confident in your capabilities to where you feel like you can pretty much live on your own terms and you're going to be able to be an entrepreneur and you can you can sell ice to a igloo, to a Eskimo or whatever, then cool, stand on that. But if not, then you're gonna have to conform to a certain degree. And see, like for me, I don't even have to conform. I don't have any desire to have tattoos on my face, so that makes it easier. And that's also something that is very outlier. People who even have that desire to begin with. So it's just a lot of red flags that may ping in someone's mind, and you've got to be aware of that, and you got to decide if that's just something that you're worth taking that risk for.
Y'all be like, oh, you're never gonna get a job. You're never gonna get a job. You ever thought maybe the job that y'all think I would want and I can't get, maybe I don't want that job. Any job that does not accept my tattoo, listen, it just wasn't meant for me. I don't like forcing situations. That's one thing about me. Today I went to go sign the paperwork for my second job, and guess what? I just got a interview for Friday for another job. I gotta figure out what job I would like, because it sounds like he's really interested in hiring me, not gonna lie. But yeah, y'all, congratulations to me. Back to being a 2-job girly officially, but still a 3 or 4 on the side, okay? Part-time. And it's crazy because I've been asking my job, can you give me more hours, or like, do you have more hours? Why would I get job every single time. They want to give me more hours. So tomorrow I'll be working from 7 in the morning till midnight, y'all. There's too much money outside to be sitting waiting for a handout. Y'all want some money, go outside.
Really look at her, right? Really look at her. And keep in mind too, let's just use the Starbucks example, right? Let's keep the Starbucks example. Remember, not only are you getting hired by people who probably come from a generation where that wasn't accepted, there's going to be a lot of customers coming in and out that also aren't used to that. Imagine some any generation, right? Some just let's just imagine an old woman just comes in there and you're cooking the coffee in the back and your back's turned and then you are approaching then you're about to turn around and approach the register and you turn around and imagine how she's going to react when she sees you. She's not going to have expected that. It's it's going to also potentially put a lot of people off that it doesn't have to, because there's one way that is generally and universally accepted. But as I've already stated, the look that she has is very niche and it's only going to resonate with a certain group, a certain segment. So, a job or a corporation, they want to be able to resonate with as many people as possible and be pretty neutral in that. They don't want to be so far left field to where it actually has people hesitant to come in and spend their money or whatever the case. Whatever the things that they may preconceive, it doesn't business doesn't want to be complex like that. They want to keep it very cut and dry. They want to make money and they want to do it as frictionless as possible.
On any job interviews and they accepted you. Yes, I've been on job interviews and no, they don't. They say instead of the piercings and tattoos as discrimination, they say I do not fit their dress code.
Mm.
So they get away with not hiring me because of my piercings and tattoos.
Hmm.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That brings up an interesting argument and dilemma. Here's what I mean. Are we considering things that we decide to do and that we decide to indulge in visibly? Are we considering that discrimination? Or is discrimination classified as something you can't control that then you're being judged as well as withheld certain opportunities for? That's what we have to now address that she just brought up. Because tattoos on your face, all these piercings on your face, and on your neck, all that, I don't know if we can consider that discrimination. I Because we try to get so modern, we try to get so civilized, but there's a certain degree of cognitive dissonance that comes into play because at the end of the day, there's still a nature to us. And human nature is still going to go off what it sees, what it feels, and we're going to make judgments. Everyone judges. It's just that simple. And that's a part of human nature. And businesses and corporations absolutely study human nature and they understand these very important facts. And so, I don't know if it's judging. I think it could just be making the best decision for your business, especially depending on certain roles. Now, if you decide to make permanent decisions that everyone can see on first impression, then now I think that you have to understand where that puts you. Because it seems like on all these examples, these people are getting tattoos on their face and having these edgy looks, but then they want to work customer facing jobs. If you're going to go the edgy route, then you may have to work a more skill based job, i.e., plumbing, electrician, truck driver, jobs to where they just need people with the certifications and the skills, and everything else is kind of second fiddle. And that's still doable. If your individuality and your niche or whatever that you're interested into is that important to you, then we just have to understand no matter what, there's going to be trade-offs to life. There's going to be trade-offs, there's going to be sacrifices. If you choose one thing, you're always going to forsake something else. It's just that simple. So you have to just ask yourself if that image that you really want is worth the opportunities that you're going to lose at the end of the day. So we'll leave it there for today. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second and it actually does help out tremendously. Also, if you could hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button, then it shows the points. And since I am a smaller content creator, we actually get more points per hype. And then also Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.